NBA picks, predictions, betting information. This is the card here on Saturday, January 18th. I'm your host, Tony T. I'll be joined here by Chip Chirimbes.
Just a reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube page and hit the bell for notifications every time we post a new video.
All right, Chip, we're getting serious here about the NBA. You know we're getting serious when ABC puts games on Saturday.
You're darn right about that, because they have to hide most of the NFL season anyway. You know, ratings in the NBA haven't been all that great over the most recent years. And who knows? I know hockey's virtually off the air. I mean, they weren't around, but the NBA ratings during the regular season really haven't been good for a while now.
Yeah, they got, of course, the Golden State. You know, I think they got a little tough break there with Golden State. Of course, no Zion. Yeah. You know, there's been some situations there with the injuries. No Kevin Durant. You know, there are some built-in excuses. We'll see how it turns around here as we get toward the playoffs. All right, this is rapid fire. So Chip and I go over the games. We each give a pick on them, if we have them. So we'll get started here. Yep. First with the Bucks and Nets here, with Milwaukee laying 6.5. Total sits here at 231. And let me go ahead and pull up my play for this one here. You know, I got to take the Bucks here. I don't want to get in front of this freight train. They're 17-4 straight up on the road, and they're healthy. They've covered 15 of 20 against the Nets. Milwaukee formed good. Past 5 games, they're making their shots at 47%, 40% from the floor. Nets have lost 2 straight, all by double digits. You know, and they're also dealing with injuries. You know, the surrounding cast around Kyrie. And you actually blamed this when they lost to Philadelphia. No Harris, no Garrett Temple, DeAndre Jordan out. The surrounding cast there. I'm going to lay Milwaukee minus 6.5. What do you say, Chip?
I understand that completely. I mean, here's a team that's, like you said, dominated the Nets, 26-9 in the number of the last 35. They're 13-4 against teams with losing records. And you know, Tony, a habit of a lot of teams is when they know they have the upper hand, they can sit there and lackadaisically go through the process of beating this team. But these Bucks are coming out and looking to prove to everyone that they're the best team in the NBA. Brooklyn's only covered 2 of their last 11 outright. You know, Kyrie Irving comes back. You mentioned him. He goes 10 for 11 their first game out. They pull a big upset. Next time out, he's 6 for 21. So injuries are not. He's got to shoot better for Brooklyn to have any kind of chance. They're 5-15-1 against the Bucks at home. The only thing I can say about maybe good is that Brooklyn is 6-1 as a home dog in their last 7. Over is 19-6 in their last 25 at home. So like you said, it's pretty tough to play against the Milwaukee Bucks, and it might be even more difficult to bet on Brooklyn because of their injury situation. So I think I'd really have a trouble with this. I would take Brooklyn. It's just instinct because it's so illogical, Tony. And I don't know if I would use this as a play. That's my instinct.
All right, Sports Big Info Podcast, joined by Chip Chirimbes. We move on to the next game here. 76ers at Knicks here. Philly laying 3.5 on the road, total 222. I got to hold my nose and take the Knicks here plus 3.5. Philadelphia will be on a back-to-back after hosting Chicago on Friday. It's just tough to back the Sixers on the road where they're 7-15 straight up. They've lost and failed to cover 7 straight away from home, and it's the defense that has been bad. You know, with the coaching change, the Knicks have shown improvement offensively. They do have recent home wins in Miami and Portland. I'm going to hang my hat there and hold my nose and take the Knicks plus 3.5. What do you say, Chip?
I'd say you're going to have to hold your nose because that team really smells, I'll tell you right now. But Philadelphia's only 7-14 straight up on the road. They're a favorite on the road here, and there's good reason because of the Knicks' actions. I mean, they're 6-14 at home, 1-5 in their last 6 against the points. It's really a tough call with this New York team. I mean, because sometimes you're not even in the game with them, Tony. They get blown out so early in so many of these games. Philadelphia's 2-6-1 overall in their last 9 and 10-4 in the last 14 meetings against the Knicks. I had the Knicks the other day and they got beaten. I sort of think like they owe me. You know what I mean? It's one of these things. But you know, Philadelphia, Embiid is still out. They're certainly 18-2 or 19-2 at home, Tony, and yet they take to the road and they're abysmal. They've only won 7 of 21, and yet they're favored here. Horrible Knicks are 11-31. Maybe we take a shot in the dark and they cover. I think more likely, I'd rather see you play the Knicks on the money line because they're really going to get crushed, or they may come up with a victory at Madison Square Garden.
Sounds like a good proposition there. All right, Sports Big and Real Podcast here, joined by Chip Chirimbes. We'll continue next one. Magic at Warriors here. Orlando laying 4, total 210. I'm going to lay Orlando here -4 Magic. They've covered 7 of 9 games, covering 6 in a row with a day of rest. Remember that loss to the Clippers was on a back-to-back, so when they have a day of rest, they've been okay. Golden State, they've lost 10 straight. They blew a big lead at home to Denver. They lose in overtime. That was a crusher there because they looked like they were in control. They failed to cover 5 of their past 6, and it's just the shooting. They're not shooting the ball 40% past 5 games. Kevin Looney out Saturday, so I'm going to take Orlando here -4. What do you say, Chip?
I see it. Golden State's lost 10 in a row. They were good, big cover for us Thursday night, but they're only 9-34 on the year. But they're still just a skeleton of who they were. You know, this is a team that we were probably looking to play over with them a good portion of the season, and now they've become a heavy under team. They're 11-4 to the under in their last 15 at home. They're 9-3 to the under when they're an underdog, and they're 9-1 to the under after an ATS win. You know, an interesting note about Orlando, this Markelle Fultz is finally starting to round into shape after 3 years of being on the shelf with injuries with Philadelphia and being traded. I'm really happy for him, and this Orlando team is fighting their way to try and get to 500. They may do it here. And the lines opened, I think, 3, went to 4, like you said. Orlando coming off that big win against the Lakers the very next night. They go and get crushed by the Clippers. How did that figure, didn't it? I mean, they beat the Lakers. They're supposed to get beat by the Clippers the next night, and they did. They may rebound here against the Warriors, who just couldn't even hang on over Denver, and they had played a fairly fine game. Lost it in overtime by 3, getting 4.5. So we'll just see how it goes from here.
All right, Sports Big Info here, joined by Chip Chirimbes, taking a look here at the Suns and Boston and our NBA Rapid Fire here for the action on Saturday.